Hey everybody, welcome to the video blog here, Storm Talk, on this Wednesday, the 2nd of April. Nice first day, we had 80 degrees. Today, well, some spots will get close to 80 on our southern counties, but here in Louisville, it's probably going to be much more of a struggle to get us there the way it's looking right now. I'll explain coming up in a second. First off, though, let's talk about the storm chances. We got several to talk about the next few days. I will say, by the way, the Storm Prediction Center is going to update their outlook for tomorrow night and Friday morning. We've got a slight risk here now, moderate risk to our west. I'll show you that on the map in a second, but that will actually be updated a few minutes from now, and I'll see it pop up instantly on these monitors here that you can't see or off camera. And if that happens while I'm talking, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll have to just mention it in the typed out blog or on Facebook as soon as it gets issued, because it probably won't be on this blog in time by the time I get it uploaded. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's talk temperatures. Quite the range. You can tell by looking at the map. 46 in Salem, and it is 70 down into Campbellsville and Columbia. If you want warm weather today, you're going to have to head south on 65, because that is where the cloud cover and the boundaries kind of set up shop right across northern Kentucky and southern Indiana, and that is where we're seeing the best chance to see temperatures on the warm side here today. Now, if we get any sun here across I-64, it'll warm us up fast into the 60s. Close to 70, but Indiana, I think you're pretty much going to be stuck in the 50s all day today, and even that could be a struggle. So bad news for you guys to the north, but great news to the south. We mentioned this the other day. This should not be shocking. We mentioned there would be a very tight gradient between our north and south here of our 29 counties because of that warm front. It's exactly what we're seeing here for today. So this was expected, not unexpected. We were just hoping for a little bit more sunshine here in Louisville to get us in the 70s, but we're going to be around the edge of that, it looks like. On the satellite, you can see we've had some showers this morning and thunderstorms rolling through the area. If you look carefully, I mean, at the radar and satellite, I mean, you can see where there's been sunshine at the south. We've got pockets every now and then showing up along I-64, and that's where the main front has been setting up shop because the warm front itself is kind of in this configuration right now. Anywhere north of that front is where the storms and showers are going to track over and over and over and over again. What's going to shake it up, though, is the warm front is going to move north tonight. When that does, that's going to move the main steady rains even further north, but it's going to allow most, if not all of our area to become much more unstable, and then we'll start to see scattering of showers and thunderstorms moving in from the south in random times and spots, and that will continue until the cold front comes through. So kind of changing the atmosphere a little bit in the next 24 hours, and I'll explain that once we get into the maps here in a second. Further to the west, we've had a lot of hailers today in Missouri, now moving to areas of Illinois. Kind of what we call this a mesoscale convective complex is developing here, MCS, is now developing across areas of Illinois. So some hefty thunderstorms and maybe a high wind potential developing later. What I'm watching for is going to be right in here. I mentioned this on the midday show. All the models indicate there's going to be some development here of thunderstorms, and in some cases pretty rapid development. The Storm Prediction Center has moved, by the way, you'll see in a second, they have moved the slight risk further to the east now to include West Kentucky, because they're waiting on the idea that storms will develop, and these could become supercells if they fire up. Large hail and even a few tornadoes could develop here in this area later on. It's like a smiley face, doesn't it? Anyway, there could be some isolated supercells later on this afternoon and tonight developing to our south and west. They'll move in our direction here in Louisville and southern Indiana later on tonight, but they should weaken into more of a heavy rain threat with some hail. So let's talk about the stormy setup. I'm going to break this up in a wide view, and then we'll go into a smaller view, all right? First off, this afternoon, we get the initiating storms, as I mentioned, developing to our south and west. We'll watch West Kentucky. Otherwise, the training will continue of non-severe thunderstorms rolling across southern Indiana and along I-64. That trend will continue through the afternoon. And those of you to the south will likely stay dry and sunny with temperatures, again, in the 70s. Now, as we do later on for tonight, you'll see how the thunderstorms get a little better organized to our south and west. Again, those could be on the severe side. We'll watch them carefully. They should move north and east and begin to weaken to more of a heavy rain scenario for Indiana and northern Kentucky. We'll watch it, though, because they don't weaken fast enough. Damaging winds and even some hail will be possible with some of these as they pass through late morning to about midday, it looks like, on Thursday. Then we'll get the break. We've talked about this several times. We're expecting the break to develop. How much of a break is a big question mark. Are we going to go completely clear? Are we just going to stay cloudy? That will highly depend on how unstable we become here for the next event, which will be late Thursday night and Friday morning. Now, the latest on Futurecast, the latest model run saying that only southern Kentucky is going to see sunshine, and just like today, along north of 64 will not. So when that change kicked in on the models, look what happened on the storm potential for early Friday morning. Now it's indicating the strongest storm threat will be more broken, and the highest focus will be where the sun did come out Thursday afternoon, while just plain rain in the area that stayed cloudy Thursday afternoon. So that's why I'm saying that how much sunshine we pick up Thursday afternoon will highly determine how things are going to play out later Thursday night. We just do not know that answer just yet. So be on guard. Even though the model shows it to the south, I would not rule out this line being a little more connected than what it's showing here across Indiana. What's interesting is the timing. If this front takes too long to get out of here, we're going to hit the max heating of the day again. And that could initiate yet another line of showers and thunderstorms. I don't know if I have time to go severe or not. Best chance will be East Kentucky, because they'll be the max heating of the day, certainly at that point. But if the front continues to slow down along an East 65, we will not rule out some strong storms that could develop at the very last minute before the front moves through and clears things out. So timing's everything there for Friday. But nevertheless, Friday afternoon, Friday night, things quiet down and clear out. Let me show you now the wind barbs. This shows the wind direction and a closer view of what you just witnessed. Notice got the south winds moving straight up, and then you got more of an east-northeast wind in Indiana. That is where the warm front is, right along here. And that's making a big difference today on the temperature, certainly. Now watch the arrows later on for tonight. Still got the warm front stuck over us. But then as we head toward tomorrow morning, the south arrows begin to dominate much more to the north. So we're now getting into the warm sector for tomorrow morning. So temperatures could be much warmer, especially in Indiana. I think our temperatures going to be much warmer in the morning hours than what they are right now. You should see rising temperatures, in other words, in Indiana. And Kentucky, they should stay pretty stable, if not steady, since we're getting a decent amount of warming there this afternoon. Here's the break we're talking about for Thursday afternoon. At that point, a very strong southwest flow right across the state. And again, some clearing will break out. How much is the big key there? And then as we into Thursday night, we've got to watch any cells that try to develop, by the way, ahead of this main line, because with a straight south wind like this, and winds are aloft right now moving in this direction, you can get some rotating storms. So we've got to watch that before the main line does develop Thursday night into early on Friday, that any cell that does develop in the late afternoon, evening could begin to rotate. So right now we're not too concerned about that, but that is something to watch. Then as we head into Friday morning, again, you can see how we have the south winds pretty much intact. And then as we head into the afternoon, here come the west winds. That's the cold front. And that's it. It's over with. At that point, everything's moved off to the east, and things begin to quiet down. All right, as far as our severe risk, I mentioned it was moved further to the east on this latest update. So now it does include some of our western counties, at least a part of them, for later on this afternoon tonight. And as for tomorrow, it's as at this point, I'm looking at the monitor. Right now, it's still listed as a slight risk. But again, the moderate risk not far away in Paducah, where we're expecting several tornadoes to develop there. Will they push that further to the east? They may. There's a possibility. It's really going to be based more on timing and how confident they feel that we could see sunshine break out here tomorrow afternoon. That will determine whether or not they move that moderate risk. Again, we'll let you know as soon as it gets issued, and it should be any minute now. Hope that makes sense. There's a lot to keep an eye on in these kind of scenarios. This is not a major outbreak. It's a typical severe weather setup that we face in the spring. And these are storms that can be damaging, so that's why we've got to talk about it. Some could contain an isolated tornado. Got to talk about that. And heavy rain and lightning. But this is nothing off the charts. This is nothing unusual. This is nothing that we're doing any special coverage for. It's just a typical severe weather threat. We break it down, we explain it, and hope that everything works out okay, and we get beneficial rain out of it, and that's it. So that's the way it stands as of this afternoon. We'll have much more today beginning at 5 o'clock. And I will post the outlook. In fact, by the time you're watching this, you'll see it. It should be right above the video link here. Should be the latest outlook from SPC. Thanks.